food here is not that good, but I hope you like it. It's
I'm sure it's great.
It's not. Though we have had really good chefs come through. This lady made me cookies for my apocalypse New Year's Eve sort of thing.
Yeah, how were they?
They were delicious.
Tell me about them.
About them? Well, I don't know. Maybe you should tell me about it. You made me these cookies. This is why I was like, this is special. She's got to have a podcast date.
I can't give out my secrets though.
Well, that's true. But they were like peanut butter like cookies and chocolate chip.
I can't remember the exact name of them. They had it was peanut butter, Reese's cup, and like vanilla pudding with Reese Pieces and chocolate chips. Anyway, they're super fucking gooey and really delicious.
They were really gooey. Like even next day gooey. I think I'd like text you about like I had woken up from my diabetic coma from like the dozen or so cookies I had already.
It was over a dozen.
It was, but I mean just in that one sitting, like dude, I wolfed that shit down just like.
Well, that's what I do though. I like baking stuff. I like making stuff for people, especially people who enjoy my company.
Oh yeah. So you were telling me a story about like whenever you were like really really young, like a toddler or something like that, about a bear. Like that, like your mom and your family, like a bear stormed their camp or something like that.
Something like I said, I don't know the full story because I was small. So this is just kind of like what I remember my parents telling me. Yeah, we were camping. I guess we were like with a group of people, and either somebody left out some food or something. Anyway, bear came into the camp, and it was like, oh shit, we gotta leave. And we got to cross this river. Which is,
just to interrupt, that's a horrible idea. Like we're talking about like a what are they? Kodiak grizzlies?
Grizzly, I'd say, yeah.
But I mean, like, so a brown bear, and then like going to the water, we're already you're kind of not doing much anyways. If you don't. If bears were in the ocean, I would never go to the beach.
Is it like a literal rock in a hard place, I guess? Would that be a good... I mean, you got a bear or a river, rushing river. Because for my mom, because I was saying, my mom, she can't swim. And
that's even more so.
She's holding me, and she's trying to cross this river. And then there's a bear behind her. So, fuck me, right? Yelling at my dad to come back and rescue her. I'm coming back, which I guess he did, and everybody clearly we all made it through.
Well, it's a good thing that as a safeguard, she wasn't like shit. How do I get out? I'll just offer the bear my child. Maybe it'll leave then.
That's terrible. Then I wouldn't be here to have this conversation with you.
You still giggled though, so it's not really that terrible. It's pretty hilarious in like the actual context. Was it like hilarious means to induce hilarity, right? So it's something that is so shockingly funny that it causes almost a mental breakdown. Like it causes you to like go insane. We sort of just use it in a hyperbolic fashion a lot of times, like, oh, Brad, that's hilarious. It's like, yeah, you didn't laugh, Todd. It's not really that hilarious, is it? But, I mean, still, like, throwing...
Looking back on it now, like, that's hilarious.
Throwing a 2-year-old to a bear and just being like, just go! Just go! Take the child and go! You've had your fun. We get it.
Sacrifice has been made.
And then, like, even the clouds open up and everything.
Oh, no. I'm glad you thought about this.
I mean, I've been working on my 15-minute YouTube clip. That's where it's at. There's no comedy clubs anymore. So you gotta have that short, digestible format.
Yeah, make do with what you got.
So what would you say? I know, like, you studied his story.
Oh.
What's you find like now, like, you know, that you're a little bit older, to be like still the most fascinating sort of era of history?
Got me on the spot here. I don't know. I mean, I definitely think that there are parallels, you know? But then again, there are times where I'm like, I feel like I was born in the wrong era. Like, I would like to go back in certain times and just kind of like experience it firsthand.
Like the Dark Ages? It seems fun.
No, definitely not the Dark Ages, but somewhere like, you know, post World War II, you know, up through the 60s and 70s, and yeah, that generation.
So the 20th century?
Yes.
It's
because we are in the 21st century now, so.
It's pretty wild. I think the 21st century has just sort of arrived with 2020. I think that the first 19 years were it's like the last breath, the nostalgism of the 20th century, sort of just like, what do you call it? You know, just sort of like...
yearning for it, or?
No, well, I mean, yeah, because there is yearning in like nostalgia, you know what I mean? But like also trying to step into the future at the same time. I think 2020 just sort of, the whole machine sort of broke down culturally, you know, and it's not fixed by any means, but I can see the appeal definitely in like wanting to go back to that era, because it's seems it was a lot more unifying at time, you know, and whenever there's something about like having an external conflict, right, versus like having an internal one, right? So if you're warring with your neighbors, some Hatfield McCoy type shit, like it's going to embolden and strengthen you a lot more so, right or wrong, than it would say if your own house is collapsing in on itself.
Yeah. I mean, like, not only that, but like the interactions, you know, between neighbors, you know, somebody new moves in and you go and you greet the new neighbor, or, you know, people who had like, you know, these, you know, block parties or whatnot. I mean, I guess they maybe still happen in certain places, but, and also, like dating or getting out to know people, and yeah, it's a different kind of interaction these days.
Tad bit.
Slightly.
Especially
since COVID, you know, that's, yeah, definitely put a damper, I think, on people's, I don't know, maybe how they have to approach dating. At least that's how it was in the beginning of 2020.
It was. I think like, because I'm kind of like already a bit of a hermit anyway, you know, as if the caveman hairdo and like beard isn't, you know, also indicative of that. But there's something that it's cheapening about like dating apps, and like I've used dating apps, like, but it's, you encounter, like we've talked before, like when you encounter some bad red flags along your way to enlightenment, you learn a lot. At least you should, you know. You should learn something from psychopaths that find their way into your life. But one thing I have noticed though, man, is that there's a formidable amount of folks that are not just swiping for some sort of orgasmic gratification, right, or even a status gratification, right, of like seeing something pretty and getting to conquer it, you know what I mean? But this idea of like, how's the way to put it, man, like compartmentalizing the aspects of a human interaction. So like ooh, this looks like a fun partner for having text conversation with. This looks like a fun partner to get the emotional needs that I have out of. This looks like one to have the idea of romance with. This looks like one to have somebody choke fuck me in the bathroom at a Swanee Swiftie. Like, yeah. But like it creates a niche for like all that, and you kind of see people that they're kind of broken down with the machine as well. I mean, we're all sort of like broken down in our own right, you know what I mean? But like, whenever you're broken down and you're still sort of plugged into this mindset of whatever the TV man happens to be talking about. It's not the TV anymore, but I mean, you get what I'm saying. It's, I don't know. Again, I think it cheapens genuine human interaction, and I do run across people that I'll meet, and because I'm a snob, like I like a girl that has personality and I can goof around with, I can talk with about like bigger concepts. So I'll go on dates and I'll pick up on like their like what they're using me for. Like they're just using me for like sort of like this, like what we're having now, just me rambling like an intelligent madman idiot and like, you know, trying to like entertain you, you know. But then they'll also be like, well, like what else do we have available on the menu? You know what I mean? Like it's
not engaging.
No, everybody stay home. Here's a menu of human beings to choose from. If you so choose, make plans on your own, but please, for the love of God, stay home. Don't go out there and meet with everybody else. It's not the time for that. It's not the time for that. It's the time for you to just select one of our lovely options that we have. Look, we have Brad, Chad, Stephanie, Matheny.
I mean, not only that, but I mean, I haven't really been on any like dating apps. I started a Tinder account, and then like, I don't know, 5 minutes into it, I was like, you know what? I don't want to do this. It's not my thing, because it's not what I'm looking for. I'm not looking for like, you know, these random hookups. I'm looking for a genuine, you know, human interaction. And I feel that's really hard to find, especially these days. You know, you've got filters and people can just pretty much put all the bullshit they want to make themselves seem appealing to somebody. But then once you actually get to know them and interact with them, you kind of break through that and you kind of see who they are and whether, you know, they're a genuine person or not.
Right.
So yeah, so like I kind of have an issue with that as well. But then I guess people have found a way to do, you know, their dating through the virtual dating, which I guess could be cute in a sense, you know, because you kind of get to know that person because you're talking
I'm not
to them.
really,
But
this may be closed-minded. I'm not turned on by robots, and that's essentially what that is to me.
I see that, and I mean, yeah, I can agree with that too. But I can see where they're trying, but like I said, I would much prefer face-to-face interaction.
Right. And ultimately, I do think that's what it boils down to. It's like, let people do what they want to do and like pursue the relationships they want to pursue, you know.
Yeah.
As long as it's like two, I guess now, or more consenting adults, like I don't give a shit, you know. Like I don't, like it's fine. But it you know, like now on like dating apps, they'll have stuff on there like declare your mask status and your social distance status. It's like, why? Like, why, man?
That's insane. See, like I had no idea because I don't do those.
The only thing I've found it useful for, honestly, and like I really have not been much of a slut in 2020. I know it's a new year, new me. Who knows what's on the horizon? I don't think I'll slut it back up, but who knows?
Anything's possible.
But no, like it is. I landed this date. Anything is possible. But it like for meeting like new people, because like you don't have like you said, like human face-to-face interactions anymore. At least you haven't had them for like a year now, going close to a year. And there's it's really bizarre to see people get so dogmatic with things that like don't necessarily need to be like what's the word, to turn something, I mean, essentially into a cult, but into a religion of some sort, you know. And like masks have become like one of those things where it's just like wear a mask. It's like, for what? I mean, for what? Like, if you're going to protesting, yeah, you should probably wear a mask so, like, you know,
yeah, I mean,
they don't know you're protesting. Right? Like that seems sensible to me. I'm not a big fan of the Antifa mindset.
No.
But like that's intelligent to me. Like yeah, like you want to be anonymous. You're out there like protesting to like change your community. Yeah, you don't want them knowing who you are. They have cameras everywhere.
Exactly. Instead of just standing there proudly like, look at me.
Yeah.
Because that's what we need is just, what's the word I'm looking for? I can't find it.
We'll be right back.
I know. I'm just saying, we want to be seen by everybody, be it like good or bad. I don't know if it's just like some kind of self-gratification, but...
Oh, I definitely think it ties in with that. I forget who I was talking with, but I was talking with a friend of mine once about like, you know, you can tell when you meet somebody that, and their sort of their spirit's been broken before and they've had to repiece themselves back together. Sometimes numerous occasions, you know. You can more so tell when a child has had its spirit broken and it's trying to repair it as an adult. Like,
yes.
And those are usually more, not to be too judgmental, but usually more demonstratively damaged people. But I've always found it really inspiring whenever, like, I'll have like just really close friends of mine, just like knowing like sort of like what hell they had gone through, and like they're still just like upbeat and a lot more optimistic than I could ever be.
Right. And
they still get shit done. And then I see folks whining on the internet about people using improper language, and it used to be that, but now it's like 5 years later after that kind of ripple effect, and it's like, all right, so now there's a dude in bullhorns storming the Capitol building, becoming a meme out of it. Now all of a sudden, quote unquote, peaceful protests are now becoming under siege because now the other side of a coin, as far as like, I guess you would call it, it's not right and left, but it's like collectivists and whatever what would you call it, individualists would represent, right? They don't like the other side protesting at all. They want the other side to be quiet. That I find to be a big problem, but still I'll see these, to tie it back in, I'll see these people that are just like, they're not even concerned with anything like that. All they're concerned about is how they look during the process of it. I know I went like way over here to come like all the way back around, but like, do you get what I'm saying with that though? Like where like it's kind of like the son of virtue signaling, right? They're not just signaling virtue anymore. They're like sort of stepping forward and sort of calling rank, and I think it's kind of violent and disgusting from both sides of the aisle, personally.
Well, I mean, yeah, I think it is, and like I said, I think it's just selfish because it's more so like, oh, look at me and look what I'm doing. I'm being a part of the process instead of like, you know, looking at the bigger picture. You know, it's not just about you and what you're doing. It's, you know, about everybody and everybody making a change. I don't know. I think you should be a little bit more anonymous, especially when you're going in public places like that. Especially
in the midst of all this, again, like the mass
it
crisis and everything.
Things haven't been peaceful, obviously.
Right.
You know, burning buildings and family-owned businesses, and now storming the Capitol, which is frowned upon, I guess. Well,
my big qualm with that is, like, one, why were the cops letting folks in? Why were the police letting those people in, right? So my guess is that either they did so because of, what would you call, favor to the protest, but I don't buy that. That's DC police. Like, they're, you know, they're not even concerned with anything like that. All they're concerned about is how they look during the process of it. Does I know I went like way over here to come like all the way back around, but like, it's they're just about like, you know, like law and order for themselves, as far as I'm concerned. You know what I mean? They don't give a shit about that. But it was convenient that all of these wild folk got all this press attention and were in all these places. Meanwhile, there's folks that were like stealing laptops, and like some dude went in there with like what do you call it, zip ties, you know, for like restraining people and whatnot. So there is an element of fear there, but just like you had these agent provocateurs during the Black Lives Matter protests that were going around and smashing windows and businesses to start with, like, these fringe assholes are not a part of these populist movements. The populist movements have the same enemy. Like, they have the same enemy. Nobody wants to be told what to do or how to live.
Right.
Nobody does. Everybody just sort of disagrees on the best way to handle that problem. But I think this was a chess move that was set up and went perfectly as planned and not according to plan at the same time. But what I think it's going to do, I think it's going to, because you have so much outrage from mainstream news, which is, the establishment seems to be like the new president that's coming in. You know what I mean? It's establishment, which, I mean, not even to talk about that.
Yeah, but, please.
But they're going to push more of this draconian shit, more of these like authoritarian lockdowns because of what happened at the Capitol. Yeah. So they spent all last summer like riling like folks up and being like, oh no, this is fine, this is peaceful. Like all this stuff is like planned out. Like they wanted folks to get angry at this just the way they wanted folks to get angry about George Floyd. Everything's connected as far as I can see.
Well, I don't know why it is, but it seems like the more you can get people to disagree or to split them up, it's a lot easier to control them, or you can put fear into them. It's a lot easier to control them.
Yeah,
and
totally.
That's very scary, and when people become so compliant with that, it makes me wonder, like, why are you okay with it?
Because it's easy to go with the current. That's the way I feel. It's easier to go with the current, right?
I mean, I guess so, but
where's the current taking you?
Exactly. Just around the river bend. Fuck.
It is a little bit like shit, man. Like all I got at the end of the day is like laughs. You know what I mean? Because like it was Eddie Bravo, the jiu-jitsu guy from the chakra Samuel Spinaci discussion we were watching.
Very interesting.
Yeah, but he says I blue pill on the weekends because like if you just stay like red pilled all the time, and there's also like the white pill and the black pill as well, like all these other philosophies as well. But he said blue pills on the weekend. I find that to be a very wise advice.
Yeah.
So like otherwise you're like I ran across like one dating profile that has like the QAnon stuff, had like where we go one, we go all, and she's like standing there like proud patriot looking for a king in my castle. I was like, ooh, I'm a conspiracy guy, but ooh. It's that expression in poker, like, oh, it's too rich for my blood.
I don't know much about poker.
You don't know how to play poker? Nor chess?
I mean, I can kind of play chess. Like, I mean, I know the king can move one space. I know the queen can move wherever she wants. I know the bishop can go diagonal. I was like, okay. Diagonal. That's a new word, folks. The knight can do the L, right? Like, and Yeah. So I
The,
mean,
the knight's the only one that lands.
Yeah.
Like it's not about that. What's in its direct path.
Yeah.
So all the other pieces, like this is one thing the queen doesn't have. The queen's like, I will jump the bishop and get to the pawn on the other side of the board. Ma'am, you cannot do that. Bullshit!
Do what I want. Flim flam.
Reginald.
Poppycock.
That's usually though I'm usually a knight queen heavy player with the knights being the pieces I'll try to protect the most because they have the one advantage that no other piece on the board has, and that they can do the 2 in one direction and 1 in another.
Well, perhaps that will have to be our next date night. We can have a chess challenge. I could show you just how bad I am.
We'll record the whole thing.
Yes.
That way you'll hear nothing but the occasional like.
Yeah. Okay. Are we gonna do the clock like?
No. Have you ever I call it speed chess. I guess for like traditionalists, it's just called chess.
Okay.
Yeah, kiss my ass, you know what I mean? But it's 5 minutes. Like that's what it is. You have 5 minutes to like play.
I'm already fucked.
Yeah, it's fucking hard, dude. Like I'm fairly intelligent with certain things, but like the more I do it, like most humans, the better I get at something, right? So, like, chess, I learned very young. I think I was, like, 5 or 4 years old. Mm-hmm. So it's always been, like, my favorite game. But whenever it's just like, all right, and 300 seconds on the clock, go. I'm just like, fuck, how many is that? 209. It's shrinking! Oh,
Pressure,
my God!
Pressure.
But, yeah, that's why you see them hit the clock. Because, like, every second counts.
I got too much anxiety for that.
It is a bit stressful. It's fun, but yeah, I'm much more the kind of just sort of like now if there's another traditional rule where if you touch a piece, you have to move that piece. I will not play by that rule, but the rule I do have though is once your finger leaves a piece, that's it. That was your move.
That's fair.
Like. You know what the en passant is?
Nay.
I think that's how you pronounce it. But we'll do this from your perspective. Luckily, we have a few props here that we can use. So what the en passant is that say you've got 2 pawns, right, that have not been moved, right? So they have the option of moving 2 or 1 their first time out, right? So let's say you have a threatening piece as well that is. If the pawn moves 1 spot, that he would, in theory, be captured by the opposer's piece, right? Mm-hmm. So the option then they chose is to move 2. Well, the en passant is this pawn from your opponent can then move into that square anyway, and then take the piece that you moved 2 off the board.
So he's a sacrifice?
It's like a way of saying like you made a coward's move. You were supposed to move there and like to help your team or whatnot, but you chose not to and chose to go 2 instead. So like fuck that. Like you take it anyway. It's I don't know what passant means or anything, but yeah, I didn't learn that one until like I think I was an adult for sure. I was like probably like 30, 31. I didn't know that was a rule.
I don't know a lot of the rules, but
I think that's pretty much it. If you know the movements are the really important part.
Can enlighten me more.
That's really all I have to offer.
Oh, okay.
Other than like I don't know, like nerd stuff, like oh, that was a good game, wasn't it? Oh yeah, that was your best game, and like it's kind of like discussing like what a good laugh you had.
I'm getting nerdy.
Getting
nerdy.
Oh.
Nerdy.
I thought another adjective came out for a second. It's like, nope. My goodness.
Calm down.
I can't. I'm just too excited over here. So we had something the other night when we were talking about a pirate, and
That's our joke.
I don't remember what the Freudian slip was, but
I don't either.
but it was something. The only thing I could come up with was that you were trying to say private, like what kind of private would I be, like, as far as like in the military or something? I forgot what the context was. We were having like a serious conversation, and then like pirate came out, and so like this whole thread sort of started of like, you know,
Persona just emerged.
of the question, like, what kind of pirate would I be? And just a pirate having just like an existential dilemma, just like, what kind of pirate am I?
And then he has to ask his dad.
Yeah, he has a flashback to what, for some reason, this pirate, when he grew up, he was on a family vacation in a minivan, and he's in the back seat, just thinking to himself, wearing his pirate outfit. But he's having, a flashback, so it's like Elf, like Will Ferrell's like sort of trapped with the elves, but not that, but like an adult like version in the back seat,
Right.
Of shouting like hey Dad, what kind of pirate am I? Mom, what kind of pirate am I?
Hush, Nigel.
What's he talking about? Talking about his pirate again. I told you that costume was going to be no good for him. No good. And you told me that he's not going to take it too far, John. He's not going to take it too far. Christ's sake. Boy's 11 years old. He's wearing a pirate costume to a bloody funeral.
He needs to know what kind of pirate he is.
He's about to be a dead pirate again, my last nerve. I still remember it like yesterday. He didn't think I heard him, but I heard him. What kind of pirate am I to be nostalgic and dreary like this? Weepy.
It just became a thing where, we started making a thread on it with just memes and jokes. And then we get to a serious conversation. It just comes around full circle back to, what kind of pirate am I?
Well, somehow we got stuck like talking like British accents for like an hour or so, and then it came back to like a guy at the supermarket, like yeah, it was. It's mind my business, trying to find some Brussels sprouts and some frozen biscuits, things like that. Here comes this fella, another father from my son's football team, runs up, grabs me by the throat, pushes me against the aisle, and says, "What kind of pirate am I?" Angrily, had no idea what he's talking about. I said, "Get your bloody hands off me." There he was. I had to call security. I didn't know what was going on. I thought I was having a nervous breakdown. Wasn't even dressed like a pirate. I didn't understand. He said he was a plainclothes pirate that time. Undercover pirate.
Did he have a peg leg?
He had two. Two peg legs. I don't think that was real.
No.
I think he had his legs belts on him, like right at the knees, like that, and just sort of hobnobbing
Oh.
right across the way.
So you got all around all right then.
I didn't even know what to expect. I saw it from over here.
Bloody brilliant.
That is one thing you don't get through text, though. You don't get good voice acting rapport with with a potential partner through text.
No. It's very underappreciated.
I don't know, because I still there is still a part of me that it does get turned on by a woman who's communicative and good with rhetoric. Mm-hmm. I like that, because that's a quick way to just sort of surmise everything. Sometimes a phone call is quicker, just be like, hey, this is going to be too stupid to write out and explain. But do you remember that scene in Five Goes West where he's talking with that bird what kind of bird do you think that was? And like that's a poor example. I'm just saying some things are easy to convey in different mediums. So it is. I do think it's important, but like it's not the same as like actual human interaction, you know.
Yeah. Well, laughter's definitely important.
You know, I just kind of discovered it a couple years ago. I heard it came out of Greece originally, humor and laughter. And I was like, this seems interesting. This is a lot better than misery. So I was like, you know what? YOLO. Let's give it a whirl. See where it takes us. Unfortunately, some people just don't recognize my comedic genius, and that's okay.
Very sad.
It's I won't say it's traumatizing.
It's unfortunate for them.
It is. Even myself, knowing that I'm a comedic genius, I know that like at least 1 out of every 3 things I say that is supposed to be funny is just not. It's just not. It's just not. If we were playing baseball, though, they would be building monuments after me in front of stadiums with that kind of average. You know, 2/3. That's a 66.666666%.
Pretty confident in that.
I mean, I'm no mathematist.
Methamatist?
No, I'm definitely not a methamatist
I
either.
hope not.
No meth
we
allowed
end this
on
conversation now.
No meth allowed on this show. This is a meth-free show, ma'am.
Do not associate with such.
I don't. I think that stuff's poison.
I've been down that road with those kind of people, and it's, yeah.
It's poison.
It's poison. I wish you the best, and I hope you get better. You know?
Yeah. It's rough, though, dude. Like, it's rough. Like, I've seen people like that, like, I absolutely love as human beings, just, like lose their minds. And, like, I've lost my mind before. Yeah. More than once. I understand. Like, but, like, that kind of psychosis is deadly. Yeah. And, like, not just for the, you know, the obvious, you know, like a truism or anything, but, like, how it's going to ripple, like, it could kill your family just because of how it, like, seeps in and permeates everything. It's really, really bad. Like, really, really bad. Worse than alcohol. And I don't like alcohol.
Me either.
I've always been a heroin boy. That's just me. Old school, you know. That's just how I roll. No, that's just bad too.
Well, I'm glad to hear it. You make good decisions. Good life decisions.
I've made so many stupid bad ones before that I was like, I don't really like feeling like this. I don't want to do this again.
Hear, hear.
Hear, hear. Did you find out if that's supposed to be spelled like hear, hear as in like EAR, like your ears, or if it's like hear, hear as in this place, this place?
I didn't. I thought that you had corrected me on that part.
Oh, no. I was just adding the other, was it homonym? I was just adding.
So I guess this is still an unanswered question. We're just
for all 3 of our listeners. if you're able to determine if when you say like here, like is it HEAR or HERE?
Or one of each.
Ooh, here? Yes. I didn't think about that. Or maybe I did. Was that in one of the texts?
I thought that was one of
I did think. See, my idiot part of my idiot genius forgets the genius moments. That's the downside.
So, see, there you go. You did.
You
covered all grounds.
Thank goodness you remembered. That idea would have been lost forever.
We're good.
That's what texting on the fly will get you. It'll get you, instead of being like, no, that's cheesy. I'm not going to send that. No, that's too revealing. I'm not going to send that. That's too naked. I'm definitely not going to send that one.
See, that's the thing. That's another thing. People are afraid to be real and be honest. And I mean,
that's why I just send dick pics as the first message for any woman that gives me her phone number.
Dude, I absolutely just loved the one you gave me. I mean, you forewarned me, which was, you know, very gentlemanly of you.
It was, but as you said, a woman loves to laugh. And what could be more hilarious than showing her the tiny, miserable, fleshy knob that is my penis. Right out the gate, just like, all right.
Well,
so you know what you're getting into. It only shrinks when it's excited.
Well, you thought you were gonna trick me because then I noticed that the tattoos didn't match. I said, oh, he's got a gift and he's talented with Photoshop.
I am. I had to get another sample because somebody called out my pixel ratio on the previous one.
Cannot trick me.
But I appreciated the straightforwardness in your reply. Like, that's really funny, Colter. But dare I say, I think you're trying to hustle me here.
Nah. You took the right procedures, I'd say.
I think I was rather gentlemanly in an approach. Like I try not to be too much of a vagabond with it, and I definitely try not to be thirsty. Though I mean, Lord knows I am weak at times, and I do get parched every now and then.
Don't we all?
We do. That's why I won't even go near the desert at all.
You know, I mean,
life is dry enough as it is. I want the people around me to at least get pussy every now and then. It'll just evaporate as soon as I step into town. It'll just tumbleweeds will like come out whenever queefs happen. It'll just be that bad.
It's very thoughtful of you.
Thank you. I don't want to call myself a hero, but some might. That's not true. They definitely would not.
They don't know you.
They don't. They don't know my power to.
They wish they did. Because I mean, you are whatever they think you are. So says your Facebook headline.
I know. I'm such a badass, huh? Well, he's a cool dude.
He is. He's an interesting person.
He's
got jokes for days.
I do. There's something stupid within me, Nicole, that like I have to convince you I'm the funniest man alive whenever like I'm attracted to a woman where I'm just like, ooh, yes. She must know. Because if I can't make you laugh, like then like I'm not gonna be any good to you in the long run.
I mean, I'm still waiting to see this black dress that you said you had that was just like mine.
It's somewhere.
You haven't broke it out yet.
No, because I'm not that easy, ma'am.
Oh shoot!
I told you. It is a new year, new me, so I may slut it up and pull out my old black dress. And who knows? The evening is young. Where was our waiter, by the way? This service is terrible.
Awful. You know, I mean, there's like a rule. You're supposed to greet your guests within, what was it, like 45 seconds, 30 seconds?
Maybe here it's minutes. Like this is like some like European place where they're like, we want you to be hungry. Sit. Hunger.
Well, I mean, they don't eat dinner till, what, like 9, 10 o'clock anyway? I don't know.
I don't believe in clocks.
Yeah.
Some would say that's bit old school.
I don't either. I mean, because I'm never on time for anything, so it doesn't matter.
I believe in clocks during the week because then I have to report to other people. So I'm flexible in my beliefs. I think that's kind of progressive and open-minded.
I mean, I got to get up, get my kids ready for school, obviously, but, I definitely go back and take another short nap afterwards because I'm up all night. Sleep when I can.
I had gotten accustomed from whatever I was on speed years ago. I would just do like Adderall and amphetamine all the time to plan out when I would sleep during the week. I would be like, okay, I'll sleep Wednesday, and then I'll wake up Thursday, and then I'll sleep again on Sunday because I have work on Monday. Like I would plan out like that, and like I got a lot done. But I was like rotting like my teeth out, and like was just being like cruel and nasty to people because like I'm always in fight or flight mode because you're on speed.
Yeah.
Like your body's like literally in fight or flight mode at a constant level. So you don't really care about like empathy or people's feelings or anything. You just care about getting shit done because you feel a drive and a purpose to do it. But like meth, for some other reason, takes all that and then adds like, okay, what if conspiracy theory was a drug itself? And then
It
like
intensifies.
well, yeah, because then you have like folks will think that there's like bugs under their skin and shit like that, you know?
Oh yeah, no, I've seen the pictures of the scabs, and I mean, and unfortunately, I did have a friend who, you know, she had a problem with it for a while, and I got her out of the house one day, and she came over and visited me, and I could just see, you know, just the scabs all over her, and I asked, I'm like, you know, are you all right? And she's like, yeah, you know, she wasn't, but I was just trying to, you know, give her a break from whatever shit she was dealing with.
Yeah. Unfortunately, the problem with people whenever they get bad on drugs like that is you can't help anybody that won't help themselves. You know?
I've learned that definitely from my previous ex, but yeah, went down that road, and that was hard.
It's not fun. Ooh, you know what I do have?
What's that?
Something that might be fun. My friends Cole and Gavin came by and did a podcast, and as a thoughtful gift, they brought these cards that have questions on them. I know it's kind of you have more nails than I do. Will you please help me out?
That is a lie, but
Look at that. So you opened that in one try.
I just have skills.
I don't. Can you? And the Oscar goes to. It kind of sounds like that Oscar envelope.
Alright, so do I get a deck? You get a deck? What's?
Doesn't matter. Here.
No.
You're the guest. So would you rather ask or answer one of these questions first?
Ask.
Okay. I don't know what these questions are, but pull any card.
Pull a card. Any card.
I will tell you the truth, most likely.
Would you rather be in shape and have a great body but ugly face, or have a gorgeous face but be overweight?
Well, I'm already with a gorgeous face and overweight. I kind of am accustomed to it now, because in my mind, I've always been like the fat kid ever since I hit puberty. I've always been like overweight in my mind, even whenever I was like skinny. Like I still thought just like I'm just a fat kid. So I always had to rely on like humor and talents and being an individual in order to woo women. Like that's how I was able to like get girls to like me. It was with my personality and this gorgeous barbarian like face that you see before you. So yeah, I'd much rather have that, like, plus like a new face. I don't want a new face. Like, I like my face.
I like your face too.
Thank you. I like yours.
I like everything that you got. Right.
Oh, goodness.
I do.
Well, you're rather forward for...
Woo! I am. You know, I've decided that I am going to be more forward and open and honest. And if that drives people away, okay. If not, great. Then they get to know me and the real fucking quirky person that I am.
You do have your quirks.
I do.
I have noticed that.
Yes.
Better to be quirksome than irksome, I say.
I'm that too, though.
Irksome?
I can be irksome.
I have noticed a little irk.
Oh,
a little irk,
no!
little ire. But that's okay. That's okay. Life is short. You gotta enjoy it. Now let me ask you this.
Okay.
Okay, are you ready?
Not ready.
I'm gonna do one of these. I guess this whole deck is, the whole deck is Would You Rather. We'll I don't want to just do Would You Rather. Like, would you rather be a chainsaw with a birth defect or a Tylenol pill, but you are forgotten and you have to sit on the shelf of an abandoned warehouse? It's like, this is not a fun game, Ron. Just answer the question. It's fun. Come on. Anywho, I digress. Back to you.
Alrighty.
Would you rather pull a tooth with a pair of pliers or brand yourself with a cattle prod?
So am I pulling somebody else's tooth or
I
pulling my?
I don't think so. I do think, however, that yes, the question is poorly worded on the card. I believe these are both self-inflicted wounds.
But that's their fault for not specifying. So I'm gonna just pull somebody else's tooth because I'm not.
You know, I'm actually kind of tired. I think I'm gonna. What are you doing with the pliers?
Yeah. Sorry about your luck.
My goodness.
All right, we're gonna go with the episode deck.
Yeah, so it's just random questions.
Book review.
I love the Berenstain Bears and books with pictures in them. If it's only words, I do better with the ears than I do with the eyes.
What's your latest read?
Well, I started reading that Quadrivium again. As you might have seen it, it's one of the toilet books in the bathroom. It's a good read.
Very interesting.
I think so.
I mean, I haven't read it, but I mean, don't mean to judge a book by its cover, but
Pretty bitchin' cover.
yes. Yes.
Golly. I mean, that is the most recent book I've been reading. Usually, like, I'll swap the books out in, like, my bathroom, like, every year. And I think before that, I have a Terence McKenna book. It's a compilation of... Some of it are interviews he gave. Some of them are things he's actually written. But even, like, the interviews, there's at one interview he's talking. The book is called Archaic Revival,
Okay.
but there's one interview or lecture that he's talking about mushrooms and how spores of mushrooms can exist in a vacuum of space. They could exist in an ether, like they could have traveled from other dimensions and found their way to Earth. And that the only way that they can become, or only way that they can fulfill consciousness in a biological state is for humans to consume them. So they are essentially aliens to a certain degree, or could be argued as aliens.
Alive?
Yeah. And then you see there's a break, or at least I do. I flip a page and I'm like, oh, somebody asks a question. So I'm reading more of this, and the guy who asked him the question is Dr. Albert Hoffman. He's the guy who accidentally discovered LSD.
Oh, okay.
And he's at this wherever Terence McKenna is talking about mushrooms, this guy is there, and he's just like, hey, Terence, but if I may interject real quick, what about this? But one thing he talked about in it was true death, as in whatever energy that we have within us, that this light that it is, that he theorized that the logos, I think is what he called it. It's like the spirit of God, or the knowledge of God, the mind of God. I could be wrong on that, but that you would have an opposite of that, which would be the void, right? Okay. And that you essentially could, like a bubble in a bath, if you stray yourself from, I think he was even talking about like a DMT trip, like if you stray from wherever you're blasting off to, essentially your spirit whenever you're dying, that you would instead fall like a glass of water in a river or a bubble in a bathtub. You would become nothing. Just gone. True death. As in one with the void versus one with the light.
That's a very scary thought.
It is. There's a sect of Christianity, I think they're the Calvinists, where they believe everything is predetermined.
Yeah.
And that whenever you die, that's it. You don't remember anything else, because you don't remember before you were born, so you don't have any consciousness after you're dead either. That's it.
And it's funny that you mentioned that, because there's actually a new series that came on Netflix, and I watched the first episode because it was very interesting. I think it's called Life After Death or something like that. Mm-hmm. And it talks about, the first woman that's on there, or the guest, I guess it would be, She's a doctor, so she kind of has issues. Like, she thinks that, when you die, you die. That's it. Like, your brain is done and there's nothing left after that. But she had a near-death experience, and after having that experience, and after what she saw, and the vision she saw about her son eventually dying, which came to fruition when he was like 20, she had a completely different outlook on death and that there is a life after death. So it's very, very interesting how something like that, an experience like that, can just change someone's, perspective.
Totally. I think there is. Do you want a cold cup of coffee? I see it over there.
Cold cup?
A cold cup. It's not hot coffee.
I'll take either one.
Yeah. Well, considering the wait staff hasn't yet arrived, I think we'll be okay if we help ourselves. You take a cream and sugar in it, or do you prefer it black?
Creamer, just creamer. Used to do the sugar, but then I was like, that's way too much.
It's one of those creamers where it's already got sugar and stuff in it.
That's fine. That's all. Yeah.
Would you care for any garlic in your? We have garlic too. Any garlic in your coffee?
No.
No.
I'm a vampire.
That's not true.
Yes, it is. I told you I'm up all night.
I don't think vampirism exists.
Agree to disagree.
Are you yawning on my show?
Definitely not. I'm making voices. Told you. I get weird up in here.
Right, here you are.
Like, you got a weird person on your show. Do not bring her back.
That's normally most of the guests on this show. There. I don't have boring people on here. That'd be stupid.
Yeah, really.
Come listen to somebody dull. We'll have a grand old time with
session.
There's something in the cup as well. It's not anything like, nefarious or anything, but it's a part of the cup. So the more you drink, you get to see something in the cup.
Okay.
It's a novelty cup. It's not supposed to wow you or anything. It was just, I had 2 coffee cups.
I'm actually a collector of coffee mugs. I like,
yes,
like different kinds of mugs. I sent you a picture of my Betty Boop.
Yeah. I forgot about that. Mm-hmm. It was the red one, was it?
Mm-hmm. Boop, boopy doop.
I used to have one that I guess arguably could also double as a cereal bowl. I would just use it for both, though. Or ice cream, because that's why I don't keep fucking sweets in my house, man. Because I'll just I'll eat a bucket of ice cream without any shame or remorse. I may have a little remorse, so I'm just like, oh god, too much ice cream. I can't wait till I don't feel like this, so I can eat more ice cream. I'll just do that. It's not healthy.
It's not. I usually wait until the night hours. I won't eat during the day or not much during the day, but midnight hits. I'm getting all the snacks because I got to keep my cupboard stocked because I got kids, and I eat their snacks, and then they wonder what happened to them. Sometimes they're like, I thought there was another bag of Oreos in here. No, there were not. Can't split one between the 3 of you, so I took care of the problem. Tax.
There are far worse ways to traumatize a kid other than Oreo shame, All right, wanna try one of these ones again? Oh, you're gonna do it?
I am. Would you rather spend a year living at a nudist colony?
Oh God.
Or within the Amish community?
Amish. They would put me to work.
Learn a thing or two.
I would. I like things I would value. Mm-hmm. I don't think I would learn much except shame from spending a year at a nudist colony. Doesn't seem like fun at all.
No, I could find that being fun. Fun, but
I don't think either
that's
one.
That's the wrong word.
Yeah, I don't think either one would be necessarily fun. But if I were given like you can do one or the other, I'd be like, well, I would want to grow from a year of being forced to do something. Even though like you have to be naked.
I mean, I'd learn how to make some killer food too. Like,
I would just get stronger.
Yeah.
And humbled. And they would probably appreciate the beard as well. Though I think they would make me shave the mustache. I don't know what that's about.
But are you married? Because I think don't only the married men have beards?
I will tell them that it is a sign of vanity for them to shave their face.
Or maybe the Ordnung you come from is a little bit more liberal in their ways.
That is true. That is true. My parents were definitely not hardcore conservative by any stretch of the imagination. This is not how you turn out in those circumstances. They were also not hardcore, like, full-on lefties either. My dad's ex-military, and he's pretty independent, but he's definitely more of the, like, straight and narrow. And my mom, being an ex-art teacher, is definitely more of the, like, spread your wings and fly.
Yeah.
The world is yours.
That was more so definitely my mom as well. She's very artsy-fartsy, and she was, just in that kind of crowd until she started, dating my dad and married him because he joined the military and, had to be all straight-laced and, yeah. She had to give up all that fun stuff. Except for her art. She still, does her art.
That's awesome.
Which we're supposed to have like a painting session together because we went to Michael's and she was talking about like getting some oil paints, and I was like I've been wanting to just mess around. And she's like, well, let's get some stuff and we'll pick a day and we'll paint together. And I was like, oh.
It's very therapeutic. It can also be nerve-wracking painting.
Yeah. I mean, like I've drawn like little things here and there, but I don't know. It'd be fun to dabble with.
Mm-hmm, there is something about the extension of the brush. It's kind of like eating with chopsticks, right? Mm-hmm. It's a different sensation. So, because if you think about like if you're drawing, you're sort of relying more on your wrist and your knuckles to sort of like guide everything. You're in pretty close proximity to the medium itself as you're applying it to paper, to the canvas, right? Well, with a paintbrush, you can get close, but like if you're painting, you're not going to be pressed on the canvas or anything, so you got that little bit of extension. I got a couple of like really long brushes. I'm just like how do people hold it like all the way back here? Just do that. But I've never used oil paints before. Mm-hmm. But I've got a formidable amount of acrylics, so that's why I paint in when I do paint. I already have them. So.
Because I don't know anything about it. She was buying like linseed oil and something else, and I was like, turpentine.
Yeah, because you have to water. Water's not going to clean it.
Mm-hmm. And so I was like, okay, so which one do I do first, and how much do I use? And then she pulled out this bottle of linseed oil that she's had probably since like 1980. Oh, wow. She's like, you don't use it very much, and I was like, clearly.
Wow.
Yeah. I've always been fascinated by her art, and she's always been very like modest about it. Like, oh, it's not that good. I'm a bullshit woman. You're amazing.
I think you just should always encourage people when they're talented to do something. Because it's the only way they're going to get better. Most people aren't born with what would you call it, like a virtuoso talent or whatever they're good at. And, most athletes aren't born like that. Most chefs aren't born like that. Most artists and performers aren't born like that. You have talent. You want to foster that talent and let it flourish and grow. So even like with adults, like it's never too late to learn like how to paint or something.
Yeah.
I know lots of artists that didn't get into painting until like they had like grandkids, and I'll see them on Facebook. They're still making art. I'm like, fuck yeah.
Well,
do it, Deb.
She told me that her grandmother didn't start painting till she was like 80, and she actually had a natural talent for it, and nobody knew it until she just decided she wanted to draw or paint one day.
That's crazy. Mm-hmm. My brother, he is not artsy fartsy like I am, but one day out of, I don't know, boredom, I guess, he was like curious about like drawing and wanted to see like if that's how drawing's done. So he approached it like from a logical point of view, but like he was like doing like still lifes with just a pencil. But like one of them, like he did like the corner of like a room. Like another one, he did like a pen. Another one, he did a shoe. Just from like looking at it, just be like, I wonder how drawing is done. And then, and then showing it to like you know, my mom and me, are just like is that good? It's like, yeah, dude. Like you get it. Like you should do something with that. He's like, nah, I don't really like it. He's like, I don't.
Way of breaking it down.
Yeah, I had a teacher before. For the short duration, I was an art major at VSU. I dropped out when I was 18. I discovered what alcohol and pussy were, and I was like, that's my life.
This is important. I have to find myself.
Plus later anyway, so. YOLO.
But
Once you live, you learn. Yule.
But you know what kind of pirate you are now, though.
Kind of.
See what I mean?
It's dynamic, right? It's like sitting on a waterbed and saying, I just want to sit still. It's like, but are you? Are you, though? I don't think so.
I don't know.
Would you rather be handcuffed to the most annoying person you know for 24 hours or go camping with someone who likes you but you don't like back?
I guess the selfish narcissist in me is going to go camping with the person that I don't really like, because I'm going to get, a decent trip. They're going to give me some attention. They'll probably be okay with me not giving them attention. They're just happy to be in
What if they
company.
just start hysterically crying like the whole evening, like right after they set up camp, and then like even the guy who brought you there is like, all right, be back to pick y'all up tomorrow morning at 9:00.
I mean, I'm an empathetic person, so I'll sit there and talk with them, try and figure out what's going on with you, but it's not going any further than that. We'll just be honest.
I would and maybe this is my own narcissism as well, but I would rather have that than be handcuffed to a person I find annoying.
They're not going to make it.
Let alone the most annoying
They're
person.
not going to make it. I'm just saying. Everyone matters. So.
We don't condone murder on this show.
No. 4 things you might not know about me.
Oh, I have to answer that.
Yes.
4 things?
I know, I was like...
That's kind of... Like, 4 things about what?
We're telling secrets. I don't know. That was vague.
I guess it's time to reveal where my treasure is finally buried.
Find yourself, man.
There's but 4 steps to get there. I should have thought better. 4 things? I don't know, man. Because I try to be, at least like nowadays anyway, I try to speak truth to power and live honestly and be honest and upfront with people, because I'm a rather odd fellow and I'm intimidating to a fair amount of people, and some people try to either outdo me or something like that. That's I'm one thing about me that not a lot of people know. I'm like a big bomb with a wet fuse. It really takes a lot to sort of want me to do physical harm, to hurt somebody. Because I'm just a fucking pussy, man. I'm a teddy bear. I don't. That sounds like not a fun way to spend my time. Because life is gonna bring you plenty of terrible things. It's struggle by default. That's the default setting with life. So I would much rather try to spread joy or change minds. As cheesy as that fucking sounds, but truly, I would.
No, it's real.
Yeah, I would much rather the world have more instances of happiness if you know, because I can control that. I can't control what the fuck's going on with, you know, folks rioting in the streets and all that shit, you know. I can control how I react to it, and how I've kind of chosen to react to it is like, I'll just start a podcast. I'll just be able to bring folks on to talk and share their perspective with it. Plus, it'll help me be more honest with myself, you know. So, I don't know. I think that encapsulates 4 things.
Alrighty. Well, something I don't know. What's your favorite color? We'll do something basic.
Ooh. Well, 1 would be probably lime green, and 2 would be royal purple.
Okay.
I like it loud.
Mine's pretty basic. It's red.
Red?
Red. Red.
I don't know if I can consider seeing a red person.
Shoot.
Good darn it.
Well, it was fun while it lasted. I appreciate you having me on the show, sir.
We don't take kindly to red around here. We don't believe in it.
My God.
Paul, I'm bleeding. You ain't bleeding, boy. There ain't no such thing.
It's evil, right?
William, our daughter has finally had her time. She has brought forth the moon flow.
Better send her to the hut out of the village so she can...
I don't have a daughter.
Now she's got daddy issues.
Ironically, he has the biggest family in the neighborhood. Like, he's got like 17 kids. Because every time they come of age or they like get hurt and bleed, he doesn't believe in red, Nicole. So it's like ugh.
Okay, for a second I thought we were at like, you know, FDLS, you know, Mormon.
Well, not in this household. We're drinking coffee.
Talking about him having like 17 kids. I'm like, where the fuck are we right now?
It was in olden times, you know.
Okay.
Most of them didn't live anyway. That's
True.
That's when you could get away with not believing in red.
I've gone back through my family tree, and I mean, some of my ancestors, I'm just like, y'all need to calm down.
I think the biggest one from the 20th century in my family tree on my mom's side would have been her grandfather, or my great grandfather. They had at least 5 kids. 4 lived, 1 died, and then supposedly there was also like a couple of miscarriages as well. And then I think my dad, like, he had like 3 siblings, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
And like one of his grandparents, they had like something like 6 or 7 kids.
Yeah,
Right.
my mom's got like 7 brothers, and she's got a sister, and like, yeah.
Jeepers.
My dad's got 2 brothers, but unfortunately one of them passed away years ago. But yeah. Other than that, I don't know, I just come from people who have like, you know, 10, 12 kids at a time. I'm like, well, I mean, I've got 3, so like I'm just, you know, following family tradition. That's all I'm doing. Just gotta keep it up.
It's the 21st century equivalent of it. 3? Oh my god, that might as well be 17.
My God. Now it seems to be the norm nowadays. It's like 3 seems to be a good average.
Share your favorite online influencer. That's not really a question. That's actually a demand from the card to telling you to grab your phone
Yeah.
and share your favorite online.
I don't have one.
They did like Facebook sponsor that card or something. That's
I
kind of
honestly don't have one.
that's fine because it's kind of lame. A lame card. Let's find a. Talk about your favorite famous dead person. Let's put 30 seconds on the clock.
Famous dead person. Jimi Hendrix.
Yep.
I guess I don't know if he's a favorite, but I do like him.
He's pretty bitchin'. I do enjoy his guitar playing.
I do. I get lost in it. It's just absolutely beautiful and phenomenal, and it's a shame that he lost his life so young, because I feel like I don't know. I think he was ahead of his time, and I feel like he would have gone a lot further had he not lost his life too.
Do you think that? I think a lot of times, like how we have this thing about us with. Don't get me wrong. I like Jimi Hendrix. Even the stuff he did with Band of Gypsies, like after the Jimi Hendrix Experience, when he got he had a 6-piece band or something like that instead of just a trio. But there's something with in us about that martyrdom effect, right? That whenever someone who's young and talented dies, then you revere them more. And they'll cash in on it. Like you look at Biggie and Tupac in the '90s. Like they weren't 30 years old yet.
Kurt Cobain.
Yeah, he wasn't 30 years old. Jimi Hendrix, Janis Joplin, Jim Morrison, they weren't 30 years old.
Yeah.
So, I don't think they were sacrificed or anything like that.
No.
But there is something in us. I don't think necessarily Nirvana would have been as influential if Kurt Cobain hadn't died before he had time to fuck up.
Mm-hmm. I mean, and that's true too, but I mean, you do also have those bands that have been around for so long that, I mean, they may not be for everybody, but they seem to keep up with the times, like Red Hot Chili Peppers, I enjoy them.
I like Red Hot Chili Peppers. My favorite album is actually one that gets shit on the most. I like One Hot Minute. It doesn't have John Frusciante and it has Dave Navarro. But I haven't listened to them much after Frusciante left. I think he left for heroin in the 90s, but then he came back at the end of the 90s and joined him on Californication. But I mean, they've managed to keep doing something and still sound still like the Red Hot Chili Peppers. Yet they're still they try different things on their albums. Those are usually the bands I enjoy.
And you also have Tool. They've been around for a while too.
Well, when they take 13 years to put out.
I know,
album.
true. But I mean, I guess that's just him being a perfectionist, wanting to make sure that it's just to a T. And I mean, the music that they make is amazing.
No, I'll agree with you on that wholeheartedly. I got into Tool when I was young. I think I was 12, and they had at nighttime on MTV they would play the weird videos. So Marilyn Manson had The Beautiful People, and Tool had a song Stink Fist that they wouldn't even show the title of. They're like that's too provocative, so they displayed it as track number 1. I was like that's odd, but when I finally got it, I was just so blown away by Anima, because it was unlike any other heavy music I had heard. I didn't know what psychedelic was at that point in my life or anything, but it's a very psychedelic album because it creates these textures, and a lot of Tool's music moving forward after that point.
Even their album covers.
But it's everything is tied back to this notion of psychedelia and the cosmos and this sense of transcending your lower self and becoming something greater, like the mortal gods that we're supposed to be.
Yeah.
And while at the same time having these punishing rhythm section. I love a heavy rhythm section, but I love it even more so whenever you've got substance and melody, and as a guitar player, like Adam Jones has been extremely influential on me, because he doesn't really do conventional solos or anything, and sometimes you can't tell on Tool's music if it's Adam Jones on the guitar or Justin Chancellor on the bass. They'll just sort of weave in and out of who's doing the bass octave and who's doing, or the bass clef and who's doing the treble clef. I like that.
It's cool. Yeah. I mean, like I said, I think he could have been one of those ones that could have gone further, you know.
Jimi Hendrix?
Jimi Hendrix. I think it's a possibility.
I saw there was a video from one of the, I think we talked about before, like one of the guitar groups that I'm in on Facebook. Normally it's like folks like shit posting and like sharing because it's about unpopular guitar opinions. So you'll like someone earlier today had something about that Red Hot Chili Peppers album, One Hot Minute. And I was like, that's actually my favorite Chili Peppers album. But somebody the other day had a Jimi Hendrix performance because people in the group will shit on like really big, like, you know, and influential musicians, which is fine. That's kind of what the whole thing is about. But it was when he was with the Experience, just the trio, and they're playing outdoors somewhere, not at any like Woodstock or Monterey or ones I'd seen, but it's during the daytime, and like it's almost like a local show feel that you're seeing, where it's just like 30 to 50 people gathered around this elevated platform outside, and it's Jimi Hendrix. And like the songs are faster than they were recorded, like you would expect at like a small venue where that adrenaline is sort of driving you. It was really like raw and like fascinating to see someone who is so revered, like playing that way, like raw and nasty and like gritty.
Not something so big.
Well, yeah, polished. Whenever I got to see Soundgarden before I moved back down from Philly, I got to see Cornell twice. I got to see him with Audioslave on the debut tour.
Rest in peace.
Yeah, that one hurt. But I saw Soundgarden in Philadelphia, and it was awesome being able to hear not just the band play, but like to be able to hear like Chris Cornell, like his voice crack. Well, like on like crack where like he's not quite hitting that note. I mean, he did a phenomenal job. Don't let me undermine that. But like to hear them like Matt Cameron, the drummer, drop a stick and have to go and grab another stick and continue playing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like normal.
Natural.
Yeah, well, stuff that happens. And then to just be like, oh, yep. Like, oh, miss that string, miss that note. Just keep going. Like, nothing you can do. But they play for like 2 hours or so. Like it was fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. I took ecstasy before I went to go see him. And so I'm back by the... it's a big outdoor show, so I'm back where the mixing board's at, where the front of the house engineers are at mixing the show. That's going to be the best place for me to hear the show, right? And I'm tall enough to where I can sort of like see over most people in the crowd, you know. Plus, there's nobody behind me, so I can booty dance the whole time. And sure, the engineers that are like working the board behind me, they're probably just like pointing and just like, look at this guy. But I'm telling you, like the Spoon Man was the second song they played, and I was just like out there just dancing,
enjoying it. I've been to like a couple shows, and that was what was it, 2 years ago almost now. Brandon took me, my brother. He took me to go see Get the Let Out and Kiss. And those were like, yeah, that was an awesome show. Okay.
You're a Kiss fan?
I mean, I like some of their songs.
Don't be shy. Don't be shy just because I'm gonna rip on.
I like their songs. Okay, I like some of their songs. Get off my non-existent dick.
Did you put makeup on?
I did.
Which of the four?
I was Paul Stanley. And I did Brandon's, and he was Gene Simmons. But, I mean, it was the energy, and it was just a lot of fun. It was pretty. And I have been to a Tool concert. Like as I said, I went when I was pregnant. I was 3 months pregnant. It's like, fuck yeah, I'm gonna go to a Tool concert.
This kid's gonna be woke as fuck.
He is, though. He's a very self-aware 4-year-old.
I think I saw him on that tour too. Whenever I saw him last, it was before Fear Inoculum came out. Like they hadn't even announced it yet, but Primus played with him.
The open for him, and I was like, this is awesome. Kind of weird. Weird, but I like it.
It'll get you moving though, like just bobbing, just like this is some fucking good music, man.
And then what was the other one? Three Teeth.
I didn't care for Three Teeth.
I mean, I liked one of their songs that they had opened up with. I was like, that's pretty interesting, but yeah, no, I enjoyed the rest of the show though.
Whenever your lyrics are kind of like get the fuck up.
Yeah,
it was
pretty repetitive. I was like, I get it. I get it. Thank you.
I went and saw from that because I had wanted to see Primus a few times and like just either chickened out or like was just like I don't feel right about going or something. But I went and saw him again, and Mastodon opened for Primus, and Mastodon played like 18 songs.
Wow. And
then Primus came out. They did 45 minutes of like fan favorites, and then they did an album front to back, and then they did like another half hour of fan favorites, and then somebody came and was like told Les Claypool that the city has a curfew, and that this was their 5-minute warning. He's like, well, we just hit curfew, so we're gonna give you one more, and it's gonna be a short one. So thank you very much. It was great. It was great. It really was. I was really stoked to see Mastodon. It's because like I much like how Tool, like it's metal infused music, but like I guess metalheads would be like it's not really metal, and I get that argument, but it's like that's fine. I like metal infused stuff, and like Mastodon, like one of their albums they turned Moby Dick into a concept album, and another one they have an album about the crystal skull that rests atop Blood Mountain, and about this person's journey up the mountain, and they go through the woods, and there's creatures and like mythological creatures like a Sasquatch.
Sasquatch?
A Sasquatch, excuse me. It's a Cyclops Sasquatch. A Sasquatch.
No, thank you.
There's another one where it's like a colony of hunters that have just been lost in the woods, and they've gone mad because they've been in the woods hunting and they can't get out. But like they make albums about this. They made another one where they brought in the drummer to sing as well. So 3 people sing in the band, and the drummer has like kind of like a Phil Collins kind of voice, but if Phil Collins were in a metal band, so it's a little more of like a higher register.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But they did an album, Crack the Sky, that was about a person dying and leaving their body, and then somehow getting trapped and coming back with another spirit, the spirit of Rasputin, actually. And Rasputin deceives them to coming back to Earth to re-inhabit.
Like we're talking about the Romanovs.
Yeah. There's like something about re-inhabiting the Tsar's body, and like they tie this in like into like this album. So like their albums, like again, like a band that like does something unique with their albums. Like I just come so hard to that shit. Like nerdgasm full on.
I mean, sometimes music does that to you.
It does. Like it's. I mean, back in the day, that's like it's what you did every night. Like whenever you were done hunting and everybody came back to the campsite, you gathered around a fire and you would, play drums or like play strings or something. And people would move about, and
I think it's such a beautiful gift to humanity is to be able to make music pretty much out of anything. And like I posted something about it on Facebook about this. What are they called? It's a Landfill Orchestra in Paraguay. It's these kids that live in Paraguay, and it's a very poor, town. And they went to this huge landfill and got all this trash, and they've made instruments, and they play them, and it sounds absolutely beautiful. And it's like really, really touching. And I can't watch it without crying, just because I have such an affection for music and what it's done for me and how it's touched me in certain ways. And to make something so beautiful in a place that someone might just seem as just like trash and not good enough, and then they're just making beauty out of it,
right,
and making the best of it. It's amazing.
My friend V had sent me this one thing where someone had taken wires and diodes and hooked them up to fruits, like limes and lemons and other sort of like squeezable fruits, right? And you would squeeze like or touch one of the fruits, and it would play a loop, like from a machine,
That's
from a
cool.
device, so you could squeeze like all these different fruits and like produce a loop, like the music would like interchange and whatnot. She was saying that this same developer or company or whoever that made it also has ones that you can attach to a body of another person. So like you can, in theory, like squeeze the buttocks of somebody that you fancy, and if it's hooked up to these like this virtual instrument or whatnot, it'll play music.
You can literally play somebody.
Yeah. How cool is that?
That's pretty cool.
Pretty cool.
I wouldn't mind being played in that sense. That's okay.
I
Let's make music together.
I wouldn't have qualms with it, but like, what if you're like, what if you're playing somebody and like just one particular person is just producing just like cacophonous, awful like brass sounds, just like.
They've got bad frequency.
Yeah, so like you just sort of stop midway through. You're like, I can't do this.
It's not gonna work.
I'm sorry, Brad.
But I mean, that makes sense.
There's a letter
though.
for you on the end table.
That makes sense that it could do that. I mean, because you can make clocks and stuff out of wiring it to lemons or.
Can you? I've never seen a lemon clock before.
I don't know.
I may have
Isn't
seen
that
a
like
clock
a science
shaped like a
experiment?
lemon.
Like, isn't like a I don't know.
I'm no
Like
scientist.
no, I'm not talking about like those school like science fairs and whatnot. Like, oh, look what I can do! I made a clock out of the lemon potatoes. I wire it and it count.
The third place ribbon goes to Timmy and his lemon clock.
Yes, Timmer. Timmer. Wait, is it my turn?
oh,
I
yeah,
think
it
it's
is.
my turn.
It
Hold your horses.
Sorry. After I got mine, I wasn't even focused anymore. I don't.
You have your phone handy? Because this says interview your mom and dad.
I am not my mom and dad right now.
Put mom and dad on the show. Lifeline.
They'll get all the wrong ideas. They know I podcast, but
This one doesn't apply. It says morning inspirational pep talk for your listeners.
wake the fuck up! You're asleep. Wake up!
Oh, I was hoping you were.
It's a brand new day.
I was hoping you were going to go with Good Morning Vietnam.
No.
I
I think that would be a little beneath my comedic genius to be so predictable and trite, wouldn't you? Maybe. If you're looking for the perfect card,
I am.
it's like a Hallmark moment. It's just like, no.
It's almost like Old Maid too. It's just.
I remember that game with the pictures.
Gotta match them. Share/discuss your favorite podcasts.
Wow. Shout out to my favorite podcasts would be Tinfoil Hat with Sam Tripoli, XG, and Johnny Woodard. I am a member of the Swarm, as they call it. I love Tim Pool's podcast, Timcast IRL. Tim Pool does a great job of reading the news for me every day from multiple sources about a similar story and breaks it down, gives his opinion on it. Sometimes I agree with him, sometimes I don't really agree with him, but I like that a lot. I love the Tim Dillon show. Tim Dillon is I guess you would call a conspiracy comedian, but he's more of an absurdist comedian. Whenever the Epstein stuff broke out, he went around L.A. dressed as Jeffrey Epstein's temple, like the blue and white building, and was like handing out flyers to people on the street. It's good stuff. He had one this week with him wearing the red, white, and blue face paint with the ox hat on, like the guy who stormed the Capitol, talking about how he just got home from D.C. and he had a lot of fun. It was a good, successful
I'm back.
protest. And like as basic bitch as it is, I mean, I love the Joe Rogan experience. Like I do. I think Joe Rogan really picked up the ball where journalism dropped it, and like you don't really like there's something to be said about folks just being able to sit down and talk, and that I like that he has folks that they're it's a wide swath of people. They're individuals, and nothing's out of bounds with him. Like, so they'll talk about sports, they'll talk about science, they'll talk about politics, talk about comedy, they'll talk about music, movies, and anything. Like
kind of like what you do.
Well, yeah. Well, I mean, obviously he's been a big inspiration, but it's close to how we talk.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like that. I think he gets such flack for it because he's been successful at it, and
that comes with success, though.
Oh, it does. I'm not successful at it, and I still get flack for it, so that's fine. Like it just comes with people don't like it when you shine. I mean, a lot of folks do. Don't get me wrong. And like I'm very grateful and humbled by the folks that listen to this episode, even as asinine and crass and flippant as I can be at times. Like I still greatly appreciate everybody that listens. But there's a formidable amount of people, like when you start to shine, that they don't want you to shine. They want you to dim, because if you're dim, then you'll understand how they feel. And only if you lower yourself to their level, then you'll understand their pain. Then you'll understand how it's not fair for them.
But then how can you inspire or teach?
I think whenever you're soaked in nihilism, you don't care about that. You're like, I've met, single moms that are just absolute nightmares to be around. But they provide the basics for their kids. They're not like shitty moms, but like they're not shitty people either. But there's just no hope left in them. And it's just like, good Lord, dude, like fucking like watch an Adam Sandler movie or something. Like, you know what I mean? Like, do something that'll like cheer you up, because like just sort of soaking that nihilism is just gross.
I can definitely relate to that, because I was definitely there for a very long time up until recently. I mean, you get stuck in this mundane, just day in and day out. You lose yourself and who you are. And if you're anybody like me who has made the stupid decisions that I did, and you make yourself a housewife before you're a fucking wife, or you figure out who you are or what you really want, yeah, you do get stuck in that. And I've had to dig myself out of it by trying to find happiness in little things. Otherwise, I would just be a miserable person to be around, and I wouldn't be having fun conversations like this, or
Right. So like one of the few goals I have of this podcast is like the folks that I have on, that I'm like yes, I love your mind, like, or like they have something to say, or like a perspective that I find would be like, that'd be interesting conversation, that'd be fascinating, but I want them to shine. You know what I mean? Like I want this to help them more than it just help me. Like I've got my own ego projects. Like I do music. I get that vanity gratification from doing that, and that's fine. I want this to be something bigger than just me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And
it allows people to be heard or feel like they're being heard. I mean, even if it's by a small audience.
Right. But I want to give all the guests the same platform. Like that's what it's all about, to give them all to be like, no, like you can talk about whatever you want to talk about. If you want to promote something, your work, your ideas, your business, I don't care. Let's do it. But like let us let you shine, because like there are folks that listen to this, and they listen regularly as well, So I want to do nothing but like help them out, and like God bless the first 33 guests that we had on here, because like they had no reason to come on, you know what I mean? And especially like the first like 10, like, where it's just like oh, you're starting a quote unquote podcast, huh? Okay, sure, but they did, they did. So like I remember folks that help me out. And most people do. They remember when people are there for them when they didn't have to be.
Yeah, I mean, it'll come around full circle. Like, I mean, I got a friend, I've helped him out with his, movie scripts and stuff like that, and wherever he's needed me to come in, and play a character or something. And he's, paid me back, and as far as whenever we do, like, photo shoots, like, he'll pay me. Like I said, we're trying to get this one job lined up. I don't want to speak too much on it just because it hasn't come to fruition,
Right.
But it could be a big deal if it goes through just because of the connections that he's made. And that's just because I've gone out of my way to help him just because that's my friend and he's passionate about something and I want to help him succeed. So same here. This is something that you enjoy doing. And I mean, yeah, I can get on here and talk and say what I want to say, but in regards, it's also helping you. And yeah, I like that. I like to help people.
It feels good when you help people, like it truly does, And even when, if some folks will, like we were saying the other day when we were watching, when some folks will try to shame you for like helping people, or like for, some folks will put on social media or something. Like, who cares?
Yeah.
Who cares? They're just doing that for brownie points. Who cares?
Validation.
They still help somebody. You know what I mean? So like, If that's how they want to do it, and they want to advertise to show people like, hey, like I'm helping somebody, like, doesn't that inspire other people to be kind and help others as well? Mm-hmm. I mean, like I get that angle. I do get the selfish angle, but yeah. I don't think that it negates, let alone outweighs the impact of helping somebody.
I think it's more so just a personal, like if you're genuinely taking a picture to try and inspire, one act of kindness will spread another, like a ripple effect, then good on you, and that's how it should be. But if you're just doing it for validation or for those likes on Instagram or Facebook or whatever, then that's just fucked up.
Well, it depends. In that instance, I guess it would depend on, are you actually doing it or are you posing?
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, like making a pantomime, essentially. Oh, look, did we get it? Okay, thanks so much for taking the photo, guys. We'll see y'all later.
And also, I mean, how does that person on the other end feel? Like, I mean, if I was a homeless person, just down, at my lowest, would I want somebody taking a picture of me and spreading it all over the internet? Possibly somebody out there that knows me that doesn't know I'm in that kind of, position. I don't know. Like, how does it make the other person feel? Like, are you asking, do you mind if I take your picture? Or there's got to be, like, a line there, some kind of courtesy.
Yeah. I agree with you. Well, do you want to get dessert?
Yeah. What's for dessert?
Well, we'll have to leave our listeners in suspense, I
suppose.
Oh,
bum, bum, bum. Until next time.
Thank you so much for having this date with me on a podcast.
Thank you. I do want to ask you one question. It was in regards to that question that I asked you, and we're talking about podcasts. And you said this one guy gives you news, or your news.
Tim Pool.
Yes. What alternative news sources would you suggest people listen to? Because you hear constantly, like, you're getting your news from the wrong source, but, like, I know there's CNN and Fox and ABC, and, like, I mean, what are the right news sources to...
I don't know if I'm apt to answer that question. Well, what I can tell you, as far as, like, just trying to stay abreast of current issues, I do enjoy Tim Pool. If he tries to stay middle of the road, kind of like I do. So if that's too far right for listeners, I recommend Kyle Kalinske. Secular Talk is his YouTube channel. I enjoy him as well. I also really like Jimmy Dore. Jimmy Dore is on the left, but he's a populist. He's not like a Marxist or an authoritarian. He's the guy who's been trying to force the vote to get the Congress people to vote on health care for all, to see who is for it and who is not. That way they can quit giving the vote to these people just because they say that they're Democrat. And I am all about that. He used to be on the Young Turks and left them. More power to him, because I do not like that organization. I don't like a fair amount of the right-wing full right-wing organizations either, just because like I think it's more healthy to have sort of actual discussions. News channels will give you shouting matches, and where everybody's trying to get their ideas in these little sound bites for like 5 minutes or so. So, in my opinion, fuck Fox News, fuck MSNBC, fuck CNN. These are reality television shows that take place in a newsroom. They do not have your best interests. Most of the major publications that we see also, they're no longer news sources. These are public relations firms that work for political parties or work for multinational corporations. That's what they're there to serve. So that is why I like folks like Tim Pool and Jimmy Dore and Kyle Kulinski, as well as like the conspiracy folks, because like conspiracies, much like music, you have many genres that can be found in there. So while I personally would love to listen to folks talk about like aliens and false history and like geocentrism and stuff like that, like the politics does come into it. So the good thing about having politics in a conspiracy group is because you're used to doing thought experiments with people, is that you're trying to get to truth.
I feel like there's a lot of truth to it.
Well, of course. Like that's like most things, it's nuanced, right? So you have to take all these data points and sort of construct your worldview with it. But as far as the news, like these folks are still giving their opinions, mind you, but again, like the secular talk is more of Kyle Kulinski is more of the classical liberal approach. Tim Pool is more of the modern day moderate, and Jimmy Dore is more of the modern day progressive. So I like those three. I think that those three are a good trinity of folks that they are not truly journalists. They're just guys complaining on the internet, but they do the work of journalists.
Good deal.
All right. Well, let's finish our coffee and skedaddle on out of here.
Sure thing, love.
Later, y'all.
Bye.